Whoa guys, what a crazy year it's been for all crypto investors, and not only crypto investors. This beginning of 2022 been very rough. And we all might be wondering what is going on, why the prices are crashing. And many of you, same as me, are very frustrated. And some of us, like me, of course, regret, oh, why didn't I take the profits, a month ago, when it was a top. But, in reality, it's really hard to predict the top of the market, and nobody knows the future, right? So that's why, as many of you know, dollar cost averaging in and dollar cost averaging out are the best two strategies. But this video is not about it. We will be talking about the reasons why we've seen such a dramatic drop in the BTC and the whole crypto market accordingly, because we all know that all the other crypto is very correlated with what BTC is doing. But if BTC is going up, the rest of the market usually tend to do a little better, outperform BTC. And when BTC is going down, this is not fun. All your portfolio can get wiped out in a second. All right, yeah, let's start. So the first thing that many of you probably seen already are protests and unrest in Kazakhstan. And some of you might know, some of you might not, that Kazakhstan in August this year been the second largest Bitcoin mining country in the world after United States of America, right? So when China got a ban on the BTC mining, lots of mining businesses moved to Kazakhstan, because Kazakhstan and China have a border together. And now when Kazakhstan is being on fire, many people being killed, and even police officers being beheaded in Kazakhstan, the internet connection shut down. And that's done in order to stop the protesters, or stop this terrorist attack in Kazakhstan, right? And that's why BTC mining is directly affected, right? So and the hash rate of the BTC went down 13%, which is very significant number, right? So 13% of the whole BTC mining is gone, right? So that's definitely something to consider. Let's talk about the second point. All right, the second biggest reason for the BTC price and the rest of the market to go down is a federal fund interest rate going up. So the Fed is increasing the interest rate. So many of you heard that, right? But very few understand what exactly it means. So that's basically banks, they have to borrow and lend money from each other in order to meet the overnight reserve requirement. What is the overnight reserve requirement? Right? When banks lend you the money to any of their customers, right? They cannot lend all their money out, right? So they need to have something in reserve in case people can always take their money out, right? So that will cause a collapse if there's no money in reserve when people are coming in and there's nothing left there, right? So banks are doing the tricks. So they are taking, they counting the money at the end of the day. If they don't have their reserve enough, right? So the government gives them a certain amount that they have to meet, right? A certain threshold they have to meet. If they don't have that amount, they go and borrow from another banks, right? So, and because some banks might have too much money left, right? So they will give them money, right? So they can meet the requirements. And after that, problem is fixed, right? So then the government is able to control this interest rate. So they said they will raise that interest rates up, right? How that affects the BTC price, you would ask, right? Because that basically strengthens the price of the US dollar. So dollar becomes stronger when the interest rates go up for it, right? So there's another reason why the dollar gets stronger, it becomes more attractive. We'll talk about it in a second. Let's talk about fear of inflation that is causing the BTC price to go down. So here's what we need to understand. Usually, people when they hear about inflation, they think that BTC is a hedge against inflation. So let's try to understand what's going on here. So in the last report that Fed released, they are saying that government and Fed basically, right, to stop buying bonds, right? They will stop buying the bonds, and buying the bonds usually traditionally known as the turning on the money printer, right? The printing more money to buy these bonds, right? So now they're doing the opposite. So they're turning off the money printer and stop buying them. In addition, they will be selling the bonds that they already have. So what will that cost, right? So let's discuss here, right? So yes, they are selling the bonds, and you will ask me, Sergey, I'm not buying any bonds. How is that affecting my BTC price, right? So that basically, when the bonds are sold, the prices on them go down, but the interest rate on them go up, right? So if you were to buy the bond at the lower price with a high interest rate, you will be making more money. This becomes more attractive, right? So that's why investors, they are looking for more safe bets, right? Because bonds are very, very safe investments. So you basically lending your money to the government. The government guarantees that it's going to pay you out, let's say in 3 years or 5 years, depends on what kind of bond you buy, right? And they will pay you your money back with a guaranteed interest on the top, right? So that's why many investors are switching off from the risky asset. Of course, crypto is very risky, including the BTC and all others, right? And they're buying the safer bonds, right? So they see the opportunity there, right? So all these factors, they basically strengthen the dollar, right? So that's why we're seeing, such a dramatic drop in the BTC plus the stock market. So it's kind of sad, but it is what it is, right? So we have to be ready for everything, right? So, but from now on, I'm planning to post more crypto-related content. I've been, investing in crypto for the last, I would say, 2 years or so, but I never shared any content on YouTube. But from now on, I'm planning to be more active. Would like to share with you guys more sources of a passive income that I have, right? Including crypto and all others, right? So, and it's always nice to diversify, right? Before I used to do videos on Amazon, and I still have Amazon business, right? But at the same time, you can, there's so much opportunity in the crypto market. The market grown so much since last year, right? So last year, if we look at the bigger assets like Ethereum, let's say, you could pick it up as cheap as $700 last year, and look what it was right now. Now it dropped to $3,000, right? So, but in reality, it looks more like a correction, like than a crash, right? To me, because if you got early enough, you wouldn't even feel that you're losing much. Of course, when you had so much, and now the market dropped, it's pretty sad, but it is what it is. All right, thank you very much for watching, guys, and we'll see you in the next video.